All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Sorry, pardon the mic stand noise. Just trying to get going here, guys, because I'm going to have to be pretty on the money about ending at 1. So I'm going to try and cover what I can cover today. As usual, I have just a ton of things to talk about and probably not enough time, so we'll try and do like a lightning round version of Black Bear News today. Starting with this from Ayoshi's Joshi. Snow cover on Mount Everest has receded by a staggering 150 meters. After a very warm winter with no significant precipitation, this Himalayan snow cover sustains the Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Yangtze, Yellow, and Mekong rivers. When we lose it, we lose the ability to feed ourselves. And that is all. And this has been ongoing. That the Himalayas have been losing snowpack, snow cover, and that's why Mount Everest is the remains and the refuse of past expeditions is being, exposed and uncovered because the snow is melting away. Any bright people out there want to explain to me why global warming isn't happening? Just go forth. Let me know. Let me know how that's going for you. And by all means, continue to tell people rubbish without any facts behind it, as a journalist. Please continue to do that. I'm sure people will be helped by that. All right. Let's talk about the bunk bird flu, the bird flu bunk, which I think a lot of people are starting to realize that the whole bird flu and the egg shortage and the hot, the $10 cartons of eggs thing is a ruse, to, I don't know, bilk you out of money because we can, is basically what's going on now in a lot of. I know that Trump is doing away with consumer protections, or at least that's, seems to be what's going on, and people are concerned about that, and they should be concerned. But what has been happening already prior to Trump is that corporations are just out of control with jacking up, oil, everywhere you go across the board, oil companies, gas companies, gas stations, electric companies, everything. They're just charging whatever they can get away with. And they're jacking up the prices on people. And a lot of times it has nothing, there's nothing behind it other than the word inflation. Well, everything else is more expensive. So we've got to raise our, but some places are just jacking their prices up to astronomical levels for no good reason, only because they can charge it and people will pay it. And I don't know. Trump says it's a hoax, this bird flu. I mean, it seems like it. Let's watch this. Looks like the bird flu missed Mexico and is only impacting us here in America. What are the odds? We've talked about this, that Mexican eggs seem to be decently priced, but American eggs are. So how is that possible? How is it possible that Mexico can sell eggs at a decent price and we cannot? And oh my God, there is such a wildfire of bird flu, and it's spreading across the land, but somehow it knows that there's a border between us and Mexico. Are Canadians I don't know what's going on in Canada. I know there's Canadian people watching. What's going on with the eggs in Canada? Are they out of control? Or are they regularly priced? Does the bird flu respect the border between Canada and the US? Let's watch this.
All I see Americans talking about these days is the price of eggs. So let's see what the price of eggs is in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. If you've never seen me before, my name's Meredith. I'm exploring life outside the United States. I'm a widowed mom spending 6 months in Playa del Carmen, Mexico with my 7-year-old son. I made it to the eggs. You're probably going to be pissed. You may want to scroll away. You're going to be real pissed, guys. Eggs on eggs on eggs on eggs. Okay, so for a dozen pasteurized eggs, that works out to $2 American. These ones right here, definitely some sort of organic eggs, and that's less than $3. And those are just the pasteurized eggs. Wait till you see the rest of the eggs.
Whoa.
Most eggs in Mexico actually are shelf stable. They haven't been washed. This is a flat of 30, and it's 86 pesos. I'll do the exact conversion on the screen, but that's about $4 for 2.5 dozen eggs. So tell me, where are you from, and what are your egg prices like this week?
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It makes you question this whole story. And it should make you absolutely, furious. Shouldn't it? It really pisses me off. And most of it, I think, is in the, sorry for all the bumping. Can you guys hear the mic better now? This is maybe a many layered psyop, this bird flu thing. One, you can bilk people for all the money in their wallets, over eggs and make them think, oh my God. And then you also ramp up the whole like, oh, there's a bird flu and it's sweeping through the country and the nation. And it's going to jump to humans soon. Everybody get ready. Let's approve a bird flu vaccine for the chickens and for the chickens and whatnot, but also for people. They've approved a bird flu vaccine for people. At least this is what I've heard. Why not check that out real quick? Okay, let me walk that back. There's no bird flu vaccine for people currently. I think this is old news. Scientists are working on an mRNA-based vaccine. Yeah, just because it's quicker to approve doesn't mean it's better. The U.S. currently has fewer than 5 million doses of vaccines matched to the H5N1 strain circulating among cattle. All right. Well, I had to check myself on that real quick. I thought I had saw that they had approved a bird flu vaccine or approved work on a bird flu vaccine for people. I'm sure they're working on it. But they're trying, they're really trying to ramp up this story about bird flu jumping into people. And oh my God, here it comes. Let me move a little bit more quickly. Here's another video on this, which is also interesting. This is a man who is a chicken farmer. He's going to tell you about this.
I'm a chicken farmer and they are bullshitting you about the reasons why your eggs are so expensive. Listen, when you consider the fact that we consume over 9 billion chickens a year and just in meat alone, there's over in 2023, we had over 382 million egg laying hens in this country alone. And so far, we've only lost 300 million birds worldwide. It doesn't make sense. They say the same shit every year. I know it because I'm a chicken farmer. I see the same alerts. And I see the same opportunity to jack up prices, and yet I choose not to. Listen, when you look at these large facilities, a lot of these birds aren't dying of bird flu. They are dying of neglect. They don't give the vegan vitamins, oregano, all the supplements they are supposed to be getting. They're getting in these mega facilities, and these birds are dying of disease and neglect. And every time a bird dies, they say bird flu. I'm telling you, they're bullshitting you.
Okay. Supposedly from the mouth of a chicken farmer, but I thought, when I saw the video about Mexican eggs, I thought, he says they're dying from neglect, and I just wondered, maybe it's not the bird flu, maybe it's the way they're being cared for, and or maybe they're getting something that is causing them to die, or maybe that maybe there's a reaction to something else, right, or a combination of things. One of the most neglected areas of science is studying like the interactions between all drugs and all various inputs and how they affect people's health. Right? They usually try to focus on one particular thing, and I'm sure it's quite difficult to study. Difficult and costly to study the interactions between all kinds of different things and their effect on your body or other, animals or nature, whatever. But it's something that should be done. Shawnee says they are dying of neglect and mistreatment. Probably. So yeah, my first thoughts around that were maybe they're being raised in a way if it's not bird flu, which it probably isn't, because it shouldn't respect a boundary, a made up boundary between nations. Yeah, I'm curious what eggs are going for in Europe or in Canada. Anybody let me know. Thanks for posting this, hemp car. This is a pretty funny video. I wanted to play this, and you dropped it in the chat for me, so thanks. This is pretty good. This is how people feel, as opposed to opposing Trump's words of praise for this businessman.
We also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you, Albert. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Whoops. Well, remember, Trump was getting booed last year when he tried to tout his success with the vaccines during his campaign. Trump would bring up the vaccines. Oh, we did a great job with the vaccines, and it saved lives. And people were like, boo, 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 boo. You missed that one there, buddy. Excuse me. Oh, while we're on this, an unknown disease outbreak in Equator Province, Democratic Republic of Congo. This is from Volcaholic today. An unknown disease. And didn't we see this a couple weeks ago? Something like the same report. So take these reports. They keep trying to push these things out here. Kameshwari says $3 for a dozen at the supermarket for commercial eggs, $9 a dozen for the organic farmers market eggs. Yeah, I feel like that's what they should, around what they should be. Or what people generally pay. I think here it's like $3 for a dozen, maybe 6, 7, or 8, around the same for like the organic. So apparently bird flu respects the border between the United States and Canada too. Come on now. Anyways, we saw something like this before. Are they trying to... They just keep on pushing this out. Scare. Watch out. Put your mask back on. Stay indoors. Don't talk to people. Here it comes. Anyways, this unknown disease has resulted in 431 cases and 53 deaths. Okay. Confirmation. Please. With cases rising rapidly, Ebola and Marburg have been ruled out, raising concerns about a severe infectious or toxic agent. The disease progresses quickly, with nearly half of the deaths occurring within 48 hours and has an exceptionally high fatality rate. Authorities are investigating as the crisis poses a major public health threat. Okay. Is this a source? Somebody was asking for a source, which I need a source on this too. Okay, it's coming from the Weekly Bulletin on Outbreaks and Other Emergencies. Oh, it's come from the WHO. Ha ha. Yeah, whatever. Whatevs, man. You keep on trying. Keep on trying with this. Watch out, guys. Here comes the bird flu. Here comes the eyeball bleeding virus. Come on, watch out, guys. Here it comes. They keep trying. Just like everybody, just remain super skeptical. Because it can't get any traction if enough people go, nah, sorry. And I'm calling bullshit on this one. Nah, sorry. You're going to have to give me a little more than that. I'm gonna have to see more than that. And you're going to have a really hard time pushing some kind of COVID thing on people these days because people are skeptical. People are like, yeah, don't know if I'm doing that one again. I'm not, even people who might believe that COVID is real, I don't think they're willing to do the whole like pandemic dance again. They're like, I'm good. All right. So, we're covering the the weird, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the weird and the interesting, and whatever else is happening in the world. So this is, one of the better things happening is that President Putin announces that Russia and the United States have officially agreed to restore diplomatic relations. That's a good thing. All right. Take the hysteria down just a second. If you're feeling hysterical, take it down a moment just to like recognize that this is having relations. It's the oligarchs, they love each other, bro. No, I mean, it's good when people can have diplomatic ties and diplomatic relations and talk through problems. And they're trying to find an end to the Ukraine war. Make it happen. For God's sakes, make it happen. I don't really care who's doing it. Just end it already. Okay. People are dying. And that's really, people are dying and the military industrial complex is making money hand over fist. So for Christ's sakes, let's end this already. This is weird. There was an article on this, but I couldn't pull it up because Bloomberg, and I'm not going to pay Bloomberg. But remember Alex Karp, who I played yesterday, the freaking weirdo? He says he warns of coming swarms of autonomous robots. Oh. And who knows where they're going to come from, right? Coming swarms of autonomous robots and urges. Yes, you're right, Shani. False flags come with real deaths. Sometimes, most of the time. Sometimes they don't even come with real deaths. But yeah, you're right. Coming swarms of autonomous robots and urges Silicon Valley to support U.S. defense capabilities. Wow. That's frightening. In his book, The Technological Republic, Hard Power, Soft Belief in the Future of the West, Karp argues that America risks losing its military edge to geopolitical rivals who better harness commercial technology. He calls for the engineering elite of Silicon Valley to have more power to work with the government on national defense. Great. The message comes as Palantir's stock has surged more than 1,800% since early 2023, pushing its market value above $292 billion. Exceeding traditional defense contractors, Lockheed Martin and RTX combined. The company has expanded its military AI work since 2018 when it took over a Pentagon contract after Google employees protested their company's defense work. This guy's a maniac, by the way, but maybe, we should fear the coming swarms of autonomous robots. Absolutely. That's a legitimate fear. It's trying to move. Got to move a little quicker today. This is interesting news about, as they are uncovering, weird spending by the government on many things. And this pharmacist tries to call out something, and this is obviously not a reason to ditch Medicare or to cut Medicare payments, but to stop letting insurance companies bilk the taxpayers. Is that going to happen? No. We'll see. Cancer medicine. So a pharmacist says cancer medicine imatinib costs them $7 to buy. They add $10, so you're out of the door for $17 for this cancer medicine. When Medicare pays for the drug, it costs them $2,400 for each prescription. That is insane. This drug was filled 250,000 times in 1 year, costing Medicare $600 million. If every one of these scripts were filled at our pharmacy, instead of through Medicare, it would have cost $4 million. That's just, yeah.
My wife and I own this pharmacy, and we're a cost plus pharmacy, which means that we don't take insurance. We just charge the price of the medication plus $10. This medication is called imatinib, and it costs us $7 to buy. We add $10, so you're out the door, $17 with your cancer medication. When Medicare pays for this drug, however, it costs them $2,400. This drug was filled 250,000 times.
And what is that called? What do we call that?
For a total of 600.
What do we call that, kids? Money laundering. Basically. Jacking up the price like I don't know how many thousands of times for each script. That's just fraud and money laundering. Somebody's taking all that money and scooping it into their pockets, and that shouldn't be happening. Somebody should go to jail for this. This should be stopped immediately. Somebody should be held accountable for this, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of calls for people going to jail right now. Are we going to see it? Probably not, but it doesn't mean it should. It absolutely should be happening. Whoever is allowing this to happen, or these companies should be just not in business anymore. They should be sued out of existence.
$100 million. So why are they paying this much for that medication? Well, insurance companies pay a middleman, the pharmacy benefits manager. And that person decides how much that medication is going to cost. Will that medication be covered? All of those questions go through the pharmacy benefits manager. And this person doesn't get paid just a flat fee. They get paid a percentage. So their incentivization is to raise the cost of the medication. If every one of those scripts was filled at our pharmacy instead of through Medicare, it would have cost $4 million. That means that we are $596 million cheaper than the insurance. That's crazy. Don't let yourself be overcharged as bad as Medicare is. Check your prices on forestparkpharmacy.com. We have a price checker. You can see everything. Send us a request for a medication price if it's not on there, and we'll take care of you. See you.
Good to know. Thanks, man. Let's keep going. Jimmy Dore goes off on Dr. Birx, right? She admitted that
vaccinated could not transmit COVID. Was that a lie? This is what Jim Jordan said.
She admitted that they knew that it could not stop the transmission, right?
When the government told us that the vaccinated couldn't transmit it, was that a lie or was it?
So when the government told us that the vaccinated could not transmit.
By the way, YouTube, chill out. YouTube, chill out. This is, Congress talking about this, okay? Just relax.
Transmit COVID. Was that a lie? This is what Jim Jordan's asking.
Admit it. Was that a lie or was that a guess? Or is it the same answer?
I think it was hope that the vaccine would work in that way. And that's why I think scientists and public health leaders always have to be.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that they forced people to take a vaccine that they hoped would work in that way? Do you call that trusting the science? Are you going to trust the science now? When the next time somebody goes, trust the science, bro.
at the table, being very clear what we know and what we don't know.
This is important for the country to know. So when I asked the question, when the government told us that the vaccinated couldn't get it, and I asked you if it was a guess or a lie, you said you don't know. You said you think it was hope. So what we do know is it wasn't the truth. So they were either guessing, lying, or hoping, and communicating that information to the citizens of this country.
So they were hoping.
All right, that's all I'm going to play with that. But that's pretty wild. Housing scam. Gavin Newsom again, helping the wealthy to scam the regular people of California. And Gavin Newsom is not going to be around much longer. And they were talking about him being a possible presidential candidate. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think his days as a politician are very numbered, if not already over. Well, let's start with this from James Lee. There's 2 videos from James Lee. Massive housing public scam uncovered in LA. And we'll start with this.
Housing units, but 13% of these are unoccupied and available for rent. It was 75,000 homeless people. You would expect that subsidized housing vacancy rate to be extremely low. There are people, their whole job is to get homeless people into these units. And from what I've been told, they can't. Now, here is a rent-restricted unit renting in LA for $2,200 a month that is listed by this real estate company called Miller and Desatnik. You can see right here, this building is an LA City affordable housing site. And property owners get a bunch of incentives for participating in these low-income housing programs like tax credits and grants and a bunch of other goodies. But here's the scam. To apply to this unit that I just showed you, there is a non-refundable $45 application fee that all applicants must pay. So what I've been told that they do is they just collect this $45 application fee over and over again without accepting any of the applicants. I got a tip from a housing specialist for homeless veterans about this particular company, Miller and Desatnik, and they said they've never been able to get anybody in there. And here's how the math would work. This unit is renting for $2,200 a month. But let's say they're getting 5 applicants a day. That's $45 per applicant. Let's say there's 28 business days per month. Multiply that by 45, that would be $6,300 a month they would be making. That's almost 3 times the amount that they would collect if they were to have just rented this unit out. And based on the property history, it looks like this might be happening. Because look, they listed it for rent in May of 2024. Then they removed it in July, listed it again in August, then did a price change, another price change, another price change. And now this unit's been just sitting there for almost a whole year. Like, why go through the process of renting a unit out when you could just collect the application fee, keep it empty, while also collecting tax incentives and grants from the government? Sounds like a pretty good deal. So this 13% vacancy rate, I think, is deliberate and criminal, in my opinion. Anyway, one of the big projects that I have going on this year is to dive into all these homelessness industrial complex scams. So definitely feel free to follow me for more.
Yeah, that's fairly disgusting. And we'll watch this one. Gavin Newsom is actually helping this continue while telling people that he's going to help it stop.
Get it. You want to see progress, and you want to see it now. You want to see progress in terms of encampments. You want to see progress in terms of people off the streets. And as the mayor said, you want to see our values represented in that progress. No one's naive.
And don't let his good looks fool you, because he's up to something. Okay, so the context is, in my last video, I exposed this loophole, some might call it a scam, where public housing providers are intentionally keeping units vacant in order to perpetually collect the application fee, because that actually makes them way more money than the rent would. And a lot of people in the comment section were rightly outraged by this. Like, yeah, this is Sopranos type stuff. But some people rightly pointed out that a new law that was just passed in California was supposed to do away with this whole scam. AB 2493, in effect January 1st of this year, supposedly enforces stricter regulations on rent application fees. A lot of conditions that the landlord must meet in order to collect an application fee, and also stipulates when an application fee should be refunded. But as Gavin Newsom often does, that law is designed in a way where it looks like he wants to help people, but in fact, it does the complete opposite. Because check out this clause. A landlord or their agent shall not be required to refund an application screening fee to an applicant whose application is denied after consideration because the applicant does not meet the landlord's established screening criteria. So basically, as long as they give a reason for denying an applicant, they can keep the application fee. And I think a lot of us maybe even had personal experience with being denied when applying to housing, and they could pretty much find every little reason to deny you. So why would Gavin Newsom build in this loophole? Well, remember when Gavin Newsom was going through a recall election a few years ago? Real estate players were his largest campaign contributors to keep him in office. $5.3 million that he got from the real estate industry. And that money does not come free. Devil's bargain. They keep him in office and he does whatever they tell him to do. I got more of this coming, so feel free to follow me as we keep exposing this boondoggle.
All right, good stuff. James Lee. Teresa Andrea says, one area of LA was getting paid $30,000 a month for homeless tent sites the size of single parking spaces. Wow. Yeah. Yep. There's so much fraud and scam. It would be great if we could actually, vote some people in. I know, slap your knee. Be great if somebody could get into office that would, turn some of these things around really, but it would involve, taking the wealthy and the corporate down quite a few notches to lift the people up. And nobody seems to have the guts to do that, or the character. Not right now. Let's keep going. So we talked about this story, Apple capitulating to the UK's request for access to the cloud, their cloud services. And this is actually part of a bigger story, I think, that I'm going to talk about a little bit. Apple pulls data protection tool after UK government security row. Apple is taking the unprecedented step of removing its highest level data security tool from customers in the UK. What people are so this is just in the UK. However, the cloud is, you can access the cloud from anywhere, right? You might just have a UK account, but we're talking about, supposedly this is UK account holders, but you can access the cloud from anywhere. So the problem with them removing this is that, well, it kind of endangers everyone else too, if you think about it. They're going to remove the security tool from customers in the UK after the government demanded access to user data. They demanded a backdoor so that they could get to the criminals, Advanced data protection means only account holders can view items such as photos or documents they have stored online through a process known as end-to-end encryption. Earlier this month, the UK government asked for the right to see the data, which currently not even Apple can access. Apple did not comment at the time, but has consistently opposed creating a backdoor in its encryption service, arguing that if it did so, it would only be a matter of time before bad actors also found a way in. Now, the tech giant has decided it will no longer be possible to activate ADP in the UK. It means eventually not all UK customers' data stored on iCloud will be fully encrypted. Data with standard encryption is accessible by Apple and shareable with law enforcement if they have a warrant. And this is very concerning to a lot of people. But this actually made me look at Keir Starmer a little closer. I didn't really realize this kind of stuff was going on in the UK right now. So this is it, all of this is concerning. Apple surrenders to the Labour government and removes highest level data security tool for Apple users. The government now has access to its citizens' messages and camera roll. This is the biggest breach of privacy Western civilization has ever seen. Britain is in big trouble. Somebody went on to say, and this is what got me my eyebrow raised. All this talk of Zelensky being a dictator. Let's look at Keir Starmer. Stalin. He canceled elections, and I was like, what? He canceled elections? And it's true. Canceled free speech. Taking kickbacks, lies to the electorate, controlling the media, persecuting Christians, secret police, controlling corporations. And it goes on to say dictator. But I was like, he canceled elections? Where was that at? And he didn't cancel, but he delayed the elections because they're worried about the Reform UK Party rising in their popularity. And that actually is really concerning. Because what if somebody had done that here, right? Or would that be possible here? Well, we were worried about this party or that party that we don't like. I mean, can you imagine? And how many people would actually support that here? Like, if prior to the last election, Biden had said, you know what, we're going to push the election back, till next year because we're worried about this Trump guy taking power. How do you think people would respond to that? I mean, they couldn't do that because there'd be way too many people that would just lose it over that. And rightly lose it, right? It's called an election. And obviously, we can debate all day long, and I'm down to have the debate about, are elections on the up and up? Are they fair? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? There's a lot of questions around that on both sides. Absolutely on both sides. But to cancel an election or push back an election because you don't want somebody to gain power, that would be wrong. That would be definitely undemocratic. Keir Starmer branded dictator as he delays 2025 local elections. And this is from last month, so I completely missed this story. Sorry, my bad. Labour is delaying some elections in a supposed bid to stop Reform UK's momentum. And so you could hate Nigel Farage, you can hate Reform UK, you could say they're bad people, you could say they're racist, you could say anything you want, but like, if somebody has the support to win an election, that would be called democracy. And, I don't know, maybe that's how people feel. Probably a better way to go about this would be like, we're going to delay the election because, they probably, if they did this in the US, they would couch it in these terms. We have concerns over the security of the elections. That might be a better way to go about it. Anyways, excuse me. Nigel Farage has torn into Prime Minister Keir Starmer after it emerged that this morning some crucial local elections will not be held next year. It's understood that some local elections will now no longer take place in May 2025 as originally scheduled, but instead be delayed until 2026 or 2027. This is really concerning. All 21 county councils have been asked to send in restructuring plans by mid-January. Reform UK is now running a social media graphic accusing Labour of wanting to silence you. Mr. Farage blasted the two old parties' century-long stranglehold on British politics is breaking, and they are terrified. The day of reckoning is fast approaching. He added that Labor has imported the U.S. Democrats' doctrine of claiming their opponents are a threat to democracy. Wait, sure. Keir Starmer has been branded a terrified dictator by Reform UK after the government intervened to stop some local elections last year. Well, they also ran a campaign against Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn, right? And successfully got him to lose over calling him an anti-Semitic, right? And maybe he didn't lose, maybe he didn't actually lose, but maybe, they manufactured the idea that, public opinion was against him. So it was easier to tilt the race to somebody else, right? Or to get him out of there. You don't really even you only need the perception that somebody is unpopular, right? If you can generate the idea in a lot of people's minds that somebody is unpopular enough, then you can do whatever you want. Reform has been hungrily preparing for the next major electoral test. However, this is weird. This is very weird. Anyways, well, this is the story I wanted to cover. I don't know about all those other points. I really didn't, I have to look into all of those separately, but I haven't got time to do that right this second. So we're going to move on to the next story because I need to go in about 10 minutes. This is interesting. Sean Diddy Combs, his lawyer, has quit, saying under no circumstances can I continue. Yikes. One of his defense lawyers quit the case without explanation, I guess. Anthony Rico filed a motion Thursday to withdraw as one of the Bad Boy Record 6 defense attorneys without explanation. His bid to step down won't be official until a judge signs off on it. Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. It is respectfully but regrettably requested that the court grant the relief requested. Anyways, there's very little information around why. But he told the judge there are sufficient reasons for asking to be let off the case. All right. And it doesn't look good for him on several levels. I mean, there's been a lot of coverage of this. Epstein and Diddy lists to be released. This is Attorney General Pam Bondi. Is this really going to happen? Has confirmed that the long-awaited Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy lists are set for imminent release. Oh, well. What do you think the fallout from this is going to be? Somebody, right here, it says Trump is referenced in the Epstein documents quite often. What does that mean? How does that land? Do these things really come out?
Something Cash has talked about a lot, and you have, when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and the people who are predators in this country. Yeah. They've been given a pass, and a lot of Americans think these guys have got a pass for a long time, and maybe even are still being protected right now. Where are we at with the Jeffrey Epstein list, the documents? And Cash has made a lot of public statements about this. Where are we at?
I was briefed on that yesterday. I can't talk about that publicly, but President Trump has given a very strong directive, and that's going to be followed.
Wow. Okay. So
a lot of documents.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So people can expect actual movement on this. It's not just empty promises.
Oh, Donald Trump doesn't make empty promises.
Yeah, right.
I think promises made, promises kept, and that's why we're all there to carry out his directive about making America safe and prosperous.
Scaring bad guys is something Cash has talked about a lot, and you have.
Okay, well, we'll see. Those are strong words from Pam Bondi, but we'll see it when we see it. Where else are we going? Well, going back to California for a second, and this is kind of tied in with the Trump administration in California. Again, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of like, we're going to uncover this and we're going to uncover that. And we're going to make, but other than people getting laid off and fired and aid monies being suspended, have we seen anything that's really resulted in change? We'll see. It's early in the game. We don't know. But this is Trump's new Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing a federal investigation into California's high-speed rail project, which is a money pit. $17 billion already spent. And not an inch of track anywhere to be seen for the high-speed rails. Where does $17 billion go? $17 billion is a lot of money. A lot of money for nothing at all.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Kiley. I represent California's 3rd District. California's high-speed rail disaster is the worst public infrastructure failure in U.S. history.
People shouting them down. I don't know. That's interesting.
Guess there are at least a few people who still support high-speed rail in California. Very few. California's high-speed rail disaster is the worst public infrastructure failure in U.S. history.
What are they talking about? I mean, yeah, we want high-speed rail. I think people want it, but where is it? It's been a really long time that we've been talking about it, and a lot of money has been thrown down the black hole. Where is it? These people should be wondering where the money is as they're talking about an investigation into again, I don't know. Are we going to get, this is a really crazy video here. A train, people are camped out on the rails of this train, on the train track, and the train is trying to get through, and why people aren't, I mean, it's crazy. They're continuing to go to drive through these tents, but why are the tents? You're kind of on a train track there, bro. Seems, I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's a way for people to get attention, which is, I understand that, right? If you're homeless, you have no place to live, and I don't even know if this is California, but I'm just assuming it's California. You live in a place that's, filthy, rich, fabulously wealthy, and you're supposed to be getting all this help, and the help seems to go somewhere else but to you. And, maybe you feel like you got snookered in life, that you want to bring attention to your plight. I guess I get why they would put the but it also seems somewhat dangerous. Anyways. And back to the question about what Trump is really up to. Remain skeptical, my friends. I see a lot of both sides on in my timelines, several different timelines of support for Trump and skepticism for Trump, and try to take it all in. I'm just kind of sitting around wondering where this is going to go. And what am I going to do in the event of a major economic collapse or other calamities? Or maybe the swarms of autonomous robots do really descend on us, and as they fly away from the cop cities all over the country into your neighborhood to let you know that it's time to stay indoors until further notice. Stuff like that. This hasn't happened yet, but if I told you in 2024 that Gates would have repeated meetings with Trump about mRNA tech, most Republicans would have said, no way, not possible. Yeah, this is Ryan Christian. Yeah, we are here. Hope we are all being honest with ourselves and truly paying attention. From yesterday, Bill Gates is meeting with Trump and RFK Jr. this month to discuss a gene editing vaccine for HIV, which RFK Jr. knows damn well that this is not, that there's questions about what's actually going on with that. And his RFK's last speech that I read and we listened to a little bit was kind of like, well, I'm open to hearing people out, even if they're wrong wrong on all counts. Well, I'll be open-minded about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we need open-mindedness in regards to this kind of stuff. I think the science has been clear, and maybe we need some rigidness.
Robert Kennedy Jr., Secretary of Health and Human Services, in his book, he accused you and Dr. Tony Fauci of a historic coup d'etat against Western democracy, and all the things from vaccines to COVID to pandemic that you've been interested in. How is this going to affect your ability to do what you've been doing at the Gates Foundation?
Well, the Gates Foundation is going to work with the government. The NIH is the best medical research organization in the world, just like USAID is the best aid organization. And we've done a lot with them. The pipeline of innovations that I got President Trump enthused about, including things like eventually having a gene edit for an HIV cure. And so that'll be under Robert Kennedy. So, I'm going to go meet with him and explain, why.
Has he agreed to meet with you?
I think it's very, very likely that we'll get a meeting late this month. I hope so. I'll be reaching out to him.
Okay. Well, that sounds a little more like it not definite. So we'll see. All right, guys, I've got to wrap it up here. And if you want to support the show, I don't have my phone with me. That's over there. If you want to support the show and you like the show coming to you for free 99 Monday through Friday, and you want to support the show, there are lots of ways to do it in the description box. All the usuals are there: CashApp, PayPal, Venmo, etc. Buy me a coffee, Ko-Fi, and thank you guys for supporting the show. The people that support the show, you all know who you are. and many of you do support on a regular basis. I really appreciate you. Gene says, if Trump and company really care to make America great again, they'll fix housing. Problem is, a lot of his cabinet are land grabbers. Yeah, well, a lot of his cabinet pretty swampy as they try to drain the swamp. What did I hear yesterday? Somebody was joking about, you got to trust the government to save you from the government. And yeah, hope that happens. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hold on one second. Let me see if I got it. All right. I don't know that anybody has donated today. Don't think so. If anybody, if y'all give me any super chats on YouTube, please remember to let me know that you gave it to me, because I cannot see them. But I will check out YouTube. But I really do gotta be on my way. Here, let's see. Maybe they'll make me sign into YouTube. Maybe. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Y'all are great. I'll see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.